Today, I spent a lot of time meditating on approximately 1 square foot of space. You're now seeing what I saw, and I was inspired to share my thoughts with you. You're free to think for yourself and to form your own visions based on this visual reality, a hibiscus flower and all its relationships. Stare at what you see and go into deep meditation if you wish. Call upon yourself that which you call I am, and then come through it all with a new understanding based on the revelations you have made real. I know. This is where many viewers have switched channels. Too deep, too scary, too risky, too much nonsense, they think. To go any further may have threatened the comfort of the myths that they have adopted. Ignorance, after all, is bliss, and ignorance is comfortable. If, on the other hand, you're still with me, let's take a journey. Not necessarily to believe me, believe yourself, okay? Get comfortable, relax, and listen to my voice with the understanding that I know nothing, but with the truth that you know everything, or you want to know everything. You need only to rediscover you, who you are, why you are, when you are, and where you are. Listen to me with the understanding that it's your responsibility to debunk everything I say. It is up to you to replace what I say with your own truth, as determined by you through your filters, your education, your experiences, and your intuition, using logic, reason, and facts. So, are you ready? Here we go. As I stood here admiring this vision of the Creator and this creation, I was reminded of all the books that I have read, many books, and yet just a tiny, so infinitesimal amount of knowledge gained from all the knowledge in the world. From books on the translation of the Tao, ancient wisdom that is still relevant today, a school of thought, by the way, that was born in ancient times and has survived for thousands of years. India, around the same time, wise people were being given glimpses of the divine. In short, they were being inspired. In Africa, the Dogons, among others, were being enlightened by what they called the star people. They thought it was all natural and thought nothing of its uniqueness. This was thousands of years ago. Later, Socrates spoke and his students wrote. But before Socrates, there were Thales and Pythagoras, among others, who no doubt influenced Socrates via the oral tales and words of wisdom and universal truth. But of course, we know of Socrates through such men as Plato and Aristotle. These students, as all students, made it their goal in life to surpass their teachers in knowledge, and with their teachers' blessings. But you may ask, what knowledge? Knowledge of what? Who? Why? During the Roman times, there were many philosophers, and they were all seekers of truth to discover the same answers as their predecessors. Jesus was just one of many. He was just a man. Again, he wrote nothing down, and his wife and followers talked of him via their oral deliveries. After Jesus, of course, came Paul, who did not know Jesus, but Paul created a school of thought, a religion based on the oral tales of Jesus, a Jew. Jesus was not a Christian, nor would he have known anything about Christianity. Paul, a prolific writer, was only one of many who wrote under the name of Paul. No matter. Constantine, who was a Roman emperor, I believe, created a religion that has grown into over 5,000 sects. Constantine never knew Jesus either. But what is important to know is this. Long before the Judeo-Christian, many schools of thoughts, religions, if you will, there was the Kabbalah. The Kabbalah. Traditions hold that the Kabbalah was from the time of Adam, the time when mankind sought to connect with his perceptions of a creator. Some people believe that the Kabbalah predates all forms of philosophies. It is mystical and it is shrouded in mysteries. Study the knowledge of the Kabbalah yourself and get caught up into the mysteries of God. But back to what you're looking at. This hibiscus, this 1 square foot of space filled with life and mysteries. This is here and this is now. Be very mindful of what you're seeing. Be present. Internalize what you see and gain clarity based on your own intuition. If I may, a word of caution. As you go on this journey, this recorded journey based on reality, it is important, I think, that you flush away a lifetime of mistaken beliefs. Go to that time when you realize that the Easter Bunny was a myth. Santa Claus was fun, but not real. Erase all concepts of religion and become your own God. Go to a place in your meditation where and when your mind is nothing, a blank mind ready for wisdom. That is, be still, be quiet, concentrate just on what you see. Be inspired and hear that small, still voice that is inside of you. It is my belief that sooner or later as an adult we reach a place in our life when we must come to grip with our reality and a connection between self and the divine. Either that or we continue to wallow in ignorance based on the views of others. We stay in a state of being lost. It is interesting that the Bible, one of the greatest collection of inspired works, though, in my opinion, the Bible does not represent the words of God exclusively. God, by the way, as tradition holds, asked mankind the first question, which was, "Where are you?" Mankind became lost when others influenced mankind and compromised knowledge, meaning the truth. Then, as tradition suggested, God then asked, "Who told you that you were naked?" These are two very important questions that you must answer if you are to realize your own truth. This is where I share my truth as you develop your own. I believe that all of us are part of the oneness that I call the universal intelligence, the UI. I hesitate to use the word God because it has become the most corrupt word in the English language. I believe that the UI, God, is inside all of us, and when we are left to our own devices, we are all good, peaceful, kind, compassionate, caring, and divine. We become out of sync of our own divinity when we are lost, when we listen to others, or when we are influenced by forces other than ourselves. Look at this hibiscus and learn the truth of life and living. The theory that all this happened by chance does not hold water with me. Think about the small analogy of creation and subsequent reality. Are you still with me? Okay. Imagine dismantling a washing machine, separating all of its parts. Now, it doesn't matter how many times you throw these parts up in the air, the parts on their own will never come down to the ground as a washing machine. It'll take intelligence to put these parts together again. Intelligence. God is. God is the ultimate intelligence. As you look at this hibiscus, look at the beauty of this flower. That is intelligence. Look at the creation of this delicate flower. That is intelligence. Look at the engineering involved in the making of this flower. Now that's intelligence. Look at the colors of the petal. Subtle and gorgeous. Now that's intelligence. Appreciates its life form and how it has developed. Now that's intelligence. See the many life forms that are depending on this one flower? That symbiotic relationship, I think, is intelligence. Look at the evolution of the bulbs and the buds in this mature petal. Now that's intelligence. That's 1 square foot of vision of the universal intelligence. How much more is life beyond this 1 square foot of space? How much more there is to know that we simply don't know. Now, as you contemplate your purpose and your place in all of this, think about these things. Would such an intelligence, billions of years old, create mankind as a folly? Would such an intelligence destroy women and children and cities? Would such an intelligence demand to be worshipped? Would such an intelligence demand human sacrifices? Would such an intelligence have just one sun? Would such an intelligence recognize one ethnicity as his chosen people? Would such an intelligence just pick 2,000, 4,000, 6,000 years out of billions to show himself? There are a million questions to be asked. Then there's this. With all the cameras and recorded devices, how come not a single picture of God? Not a single voice recording? My answer is this. God, that universal intelligence, imparts divinity inside each of us, individually, and all that is required of us is to be the absolute best human being that we can be, and to be the creators that we are, and in maintaining this world as the Eden that it is. We are never lost when we listen to ourselves. That's it. Meditate on my words, digesting them only if you wish, as you make your own discoveries of your own truth. In the meantime, in the next few minutes, erase from your mind a lifetime of mistaken beliefs and internalize what you're looking at, this hibiscus and its beauty, and appreciate the Creator and the Creator's creation that lives inside of you. knowledge, experiences, and intuition. Today, right here and right now, let us all establish our very own religion based on our very own insights. We recognize that in an ever-changing perception of a constant called life, we affirm our oneness with the universal force called God. That force, that energy, which is neither a he, she, or it, but is all and everything of which we are a part of. We accept the responsibility to learn from the past and current sages and appreciate their wisdom into the mind of God. We have been blessed with so many words of wisdom from so many great minds, words that stir our souls, from the Buddha to the words of Socrates. We read and understand the words of Plato and John Lennon. We internalize the one love of a Bob Marley as he speaks to his birds. Richard Bach's imagination vitalized our very own imagination. After all, is not imagination the greatest faculty of the mind? After all, our mind, when used wisely, is the connection link to God. Our purpose of life is to live, to be happy. Our sensuality is to be enjoyed often and with joy. And as for wisdom, maybe we should remind ourselves of the words of one of the greatest sages that ever lived. Jesus said, and I quote, "Seek not the law in your scriptures, for the law is life, whereas the scripture is dead. I tell you truly, Moses received not his laws from God in writing, but through the living word. The law is living word of a living God to living prophets for living men. In everything that is life is the law written. You find it in the grass, in the tree, in the river, in the mountain, in the birds of heaven, in the fishes of the sea, but seek it chiefly in yourself. For I tell you truly, all living things are nearer to God than the scriptures which is without life. God so made life and all living things that they might be the everlasting word, teachings, the laws, and the true God to man. God wrote not the laws in the pages of books, but in your heart and in your spirit." End quote. Is it any wonder then that these words were kept out of the Bible? Is it any wonder then that these words were not accepted by our modern clergy? Aren't these words as applicable now as they were then? Think for yourself. As for what we believe and accept as truth, deep down we know what the truth is. We listen to ourselves. We celebrate our love for one another. We take delight in being a part of this Eden. We look at this two-dimensional picture of this flower and the life it sustains, knowing that it is only 1 square foot of a massive and multidimensional world and universe of which we are a part of. We are humbled by our acceptance by the divine, right here and right now. We are mindful of the present. We can do nothing about the past, and all we can ever do is to imagine the future. This is all the time that we have, here and now. In the silence, then, as we observe this two-dimensional photo of a multi-dimensional universe. Let us, you and I, appreciate our standing in this great and wonderful experience called life. In silence, then, let us formulate our own thoughts.